Why's the middle low on them tats? Why's the middle low on them tats? Why's the middle low on them tats? Why's the middle low?
Hey everybody! Hey. We're zapping to you.
Hey, I have no. Can't hear me.
Can't hear you?
No. Hey. Yeah. Can we hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Good.
Yeah. See, look, we're on the red. We need to.
Hey, which one am I? Am I the red?
It's hard to say.
All right. Welcome back to the Slanted Sandwich.
Right. We are zapping to you from this amazingly beautiful gray spring day. Here to fill your ears with all the weirdness out there.
It's wet and soggy and depressing.
Yes, sloppy. Did we talk about the sandwich? Okay, anyway. It's the Slanted Sandwich. I'm Lauren.
I'm Bob.
And we're here to give you the dish on the latest, craziest. And we don't know how true all of this sandwich stuff is, but today we'll blow your mind in a tunnel shooting you out to space. Lots of space stuff in our weekly headlines.
We're in space.
Technically, yes.
We're totally in space. I cannot hear anything. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Wait, you want me to turn it up?
Yes, please.
Is that better? Okay.
I can hear.
We're still trying to get our foothold in all this technical stuff.
We got so much technology.
Yep. Okay, so I wanted to start with the Slanted Sandwich. Yeah.
Well, we always forget the sandwich.
I know.
And at the very last, we're like, have you ever seen The Birdcage? And the guy runs in and he's like, the shrimps, at the very last second.
No, I don't remember.
You ever seen that movie? It had Robin Williams in it.
Oh, are you talking about the one? Wait, I don't know.
He's like, they didn't want him to know that he was a lover, so he's like, yeah, this is our Panamanian butler or chef or whatever, right? Because he's trying to introduce his parents as being straight. That's what the whole movie of Birdcage is about.
I haven't, you know what, y'all, my trivia on watching movies is... I need to watch more movies.
And he's like, it's a Panamanian shrimp soup. And there's like no shrimp in the soup, and like he's in the kitchen and he discovers the shrimp and he's like, oh, and he like runs in and he just like throws the shrimps, like 3 shrimps in the soup, and he goes, like... the shrimps, and he just tosses them in there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our sandwich. No, what is our sandwich?
That's like a noodle dish or shrimp dish. I don't know. I texted you. I was like, can you look up the Slanted Sandwich?
Look, here's the deal. I got the best sandwich, guys.
Okay.
We're doing the sandwich?
Yeah.
Isn't that part of the show?
Yeah, but I'm wondering...
Am I losing my mind? Do we do a sandwich or not?
We do. We should just do it or else we'll get distracted and we'll keep missing it. Okay, so what do you have for us, Bob?
Okay, so with this sandwich is like you just make your regular sandwich however you like it, you know, with the pastrami and then the turkey meat and some mustard, like the spicy deli mustard, and then some cheese, and you toast that. But the thing about it is, here's the twist on it, is that you get to grow your own sprouts. You grow them from seed. You get the chia seeds or whatever kind of seeds you want. You let them sprout in the windowsill with some water, and then it's like the sprouts I grew in your own sandwich. Then you get your vitamin K in there. Mm-hmm. It's good to eat sprouted stuff, and it's even more fun to make your own sprouts.
Yeah, so...
Make your own sprouts. Get a little jar. They have a screen in it.
What kind of sprouts do you suggest our listeners get?
Oh, you can do... Well, they have... I think I said chia. Chia.
I really like alfalfa sprouts on my sandwich.
I think they have broccoli sprouts. There's all sorts of different sprouts. That's up to you guys.
Yeah, sprouts and stuff. Yeah.
And gals.
Okay.
If I say guys, that means gals too.
Okay, guys. All right, cool. Well...
all 34 of our listeners.
Yes, and every one of you is very special.
Hey, you know how we know how many listeners? We get like 8 likes.
If you're listening to us, share the sandwich, share the love.
Not only share the sandwich, but you can be a part of this. You find some cool article, you find something.
Yeah.
You can post it on the Slanted Sandwich.
If you check out the Slanted Sandwich Facebook page right now, I finally listed all the headlines for today.
Right.
So
And you can catch old episodes.
yes.
Not old. They're not that old. Like
Last
1 week
week's
old.
episode. Yeah, we usually try to post them like the day of. Doesn't always happen, but we need to try to be more predictable.
Predictable.
What is that? I'm ADD.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and get into our latest weird headlines. If you are checking out our Facebook page, you can look in the comments of our latest post. Space stuff today. We've got stunning close-up of Saturn's moon called Pan reveals a space empanada.
No. It's an empanada. Empanada.
Y'all, I learned German.
You're from Texas. There's no excuse.
I had a hard time saying jicama the first time I read it on a menu. I'm
Right.
like, jicama?
Jicama?
Y'all tease me all you want. That's
Empanada.
fine.
What do they say when you have the voice translator or whatever? What is that called?
The voiceover?
No, the
What?
thing we type it in and it says
Oh,
it.
this. Yeah.
Speech
Well, listen.
modulator.
Yeah.
Speech modulator.
I just
From the
figured it
future.
would be a word I knew, and I kind of glossed over it, to be
Empanada.
honest. Okay, well, anyways. Astronomers have long known... Okay, so on the picture of this website...
Sciencemag.org.
Yeah, sciencemag.org. It looks like a little... The moon looks... It's kind of cute. It looks like a little hamburger or something, like a little UFO.
It's like an empanada.
Okay, yeah.
If you don't know what that looks like, that should be our sandwich. I changed it. All that stuff I said about sprouts, we're going to make your sandwich of the day is an empanada.
It happened without us really knowing about
Empanada
it.
with sprouts.
And it's floating around Saturn in space. Okay. So astronomers have long known that Pan, one of Saturn's most sandwiched moons, has an odd look. Based on images from a distance, researchers have said it looks like a walnut or a flying saucer. But now NASA's
Don't just glaze over flying saucer. It could be a flying saucer. Yeah, sure, Bob. Get out of here.
Okay, but now NASA's Cassini probe has delivered stunning close-ups of the 35-kilometer wide icy moon, and it might be better called a pan-fried dumpling or an empanada.
Yeah.
Pan orbits Saturn in a gap in the planets
Rings.
and the planet's rings and pulls material from them. So the ridge around it likely started accumulating soon after the moon formed, researchers say. The new images are only hours old, so scientists haven't yet had time to estimate how wide and tall the ridge is. If material in the ridge is still loose rather than somehow fused together, the ridge can maintain its steepness only because the moon's gravity is so low. The latest pictures were obtained as Cassini conducts its final and riskiest flybys past Saturn's moons and rings before it blazes into the planet's atmosphere later this year.
Okay, wait, so this thing blazes into the planet. It's gonna burn up? Is that what they're implying? Is that this thing that's taking the photographs is just gonna crash land on Saturn?
Maybe. It's possible.
Maybe?
I mean, I think
so.
that's the risk a lot of engineers, NASA and space engineers have to be aware of, that things might not last or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or even worse, they'll last forever. Right?
Floating around and not stopping. Yeah. Yeah, I was watching this really cool video yesterday of an astronaut in the space station wringing out a rag, and the water just kind of, we're so used to thinking that water is just going to fall off our hands and it will evaporate and dry, but no, it's like it doesn't move. It just, it looks like a jelly.
You remember the movie Contact, and she's falling through that thing?
Yeah.
And she's like, they should have sent a poet, But they really did send a good guy for that. Like, he plays, what's his name? I don't know. The guy is in space. He does all the shuttle videos. And he's like, sings like, ground control to Major Tom, and they're like, oh, like, I approve of their choice.
Yeah.
Send that guy.
Yeah.
And me too.
I mean,
also, I would like to go to space.
Yeah, you definitely would be very entertaining up there. Okay, so, Bob, you want to read the next one?
Harvard, Harvard physicist just proposed that mystery radio bursts are powering alien spaceships. Okay, let me say that again.
Science alert. This is from Science Alert.
Harvard physicists just proposed that mystery radio bursts are powering alien spaceship. So, okay, radio burst.
Radio
okay.
burst.
So it says fast radio burst, and it came from Science Alert. That's why she said Science Alert. Science Alert. Fast radio bursts are exceedingly bright, given their short duration and origin at great distances. We haven't identified a possible natural source with any confidence, says theoretical physicist Avi Loeb from Harvard Smithsonian Center for Astrophysicists. An artificial origin is worth contemplating and checking. Fast radio burst, FRB, aren't all that uncommon. Since the first one was detected back in 2007, researchers predict that around 2,000 of these things are lighting up the universe every single day. Which days in space, obviously, their days are not our days. We have days. They're not going to know what. We talk to aliens and we're like, how many years? And they're like, year?
Planets are like, what?
Year? What? Year? We've been going by nuclear decay of uranium P-34 forever. I don't know what kind of time schedule you're on. We're in space. We're all about radioactive half-lives is the measurement of our days, whatever y'all call them, days. They're just like mocking us. They're like, we're not going to let you out in space until you all know about the periodic table of elements.
Yeah.
And stuff. But anyway, the problem with detecting and analyzing these signals is that they're not only incredibly fleeting, less than 5 milliseconds in duration, they've been frustratingly random in origin. That was until late 2016, when researchers detected what appears to be the first repeating FRB fast radio burst. 11 high-energy radio bursts, all coming from a single source way out in the distant universe. Earlier this year, 6 more FRBs were detected coming from the same location, and researchers managed to pinpoint their location to a faint dwarf galaxy.
Way over here.
Isn't that like an oxymoron? A dwarf galaxy?
I know. I'm thinking, like, what? I mean, Pluto's a dwarf planet, and they're going to, like, call this a galaxy?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Pluto's not a planet.
I like to think that there's
galaxy is probably not a planet.
2 aliens living on Pluto, and they're like, you stay on your side and I'll stay on my side.
Yeah.
They just can't get along. It's like they don't pass away. They're just like, you stay over there. There ain't enough room on the western hemisphere of Pluto for the both of us. And it started from a long time ago as a man and a woman. She's like, I wouldn't do you if you were the last person on this planet. And then something happened. Everybody passed off except for these 2. And they're just like, every once in a while, once in a blue moon, once in a, whatever. They're like, we need to bury the hatchet.
Well, one of them has to lend out the olive branch, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, we should write a story. That
was it. That's a short story.
Okay.
It's done. There's a bitter couple living on Pluto.
Oh, how charming. Okay.
Anyway, you want to talk about some Neanderthals?
I hope I'm saying this right. My words are crazy today. Okay, so apparently Neanderthals were pretty much like us. They self-medicated for pain. Oh, you know what? I want to get into it.
We'll talk about that after the break.
Yeah, we got to go to break, everyone. Okay. Breaks. Okay, we'll be back. Hey, San Marcus. Thanks for listening to KZSM.org's live streaming today. Please donate. Go to KZSM.org/donate to help us out and to help keep this station running smoothly. And if if you're buffering and driving, the live streaming is sometimes kind of quirky, so don't have a wreck. All right.
Feel free to donate.
Yeah, feel free.
I don't have a mic.
It's on. It's just,
Okay.
I think the volume might be low.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, we're back.
Yeah.
We're back with the Slanted Sandwich. I'm Lauren.
Bub.
Yes.
Yes.
And we're here to
We're
bring
both
you the
here.
weird news. Okay, so what I'm
You're
going to
over
do.
there.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, okay, so if you're listening to this, let us know if you want a 2-hour show because, we've got a lot of really cool articles to talk about, and sometimes we just don't have enough time to talk about them all. Let us know your thoughts. Go to facebook.com/slanted sandwich. Okay.
Yo, good thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't be a troll.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all we haven't had any problem. People have been pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Very groovy
Oh, yeah. I mean,
about
San Marcos, the community here is pretty awesome, I must say. Okay. So I'm going to skip one of the art. Oh, well.
No, we wanted to talk about
the Neanderthals.
sending out radio frequencies,
Okay.
right? But what was that whole thing? Let's sum it up in what was that about?
The Neanderthals?
No, the radio thing before we get into the Neanderthals.
Oh.
We're hearing random radio
yeah.
stuff from space.
I mean, they've been working on this forever. So we're talking about the previous article about the radio bursts.
Mm-hmm.
This has happened before. SETI has been searching the universe for signals of life out there. And these little bursts, I've heard, I mean, this isn't the first article. This has happened before. And scientists are pretty certain it's just something natural out there, but they still can't quite explain it. So we're still looking into it, and they keep hearing these bursts, and sometimes they happen, sometimes they don't. They're kind of random. Sometimes they're not. I remember reading one article a while ago that they found a burst that it wasn't just one burst. It was like a series of bursts that were perfectly timed in between, like beats.
Did
it
you
was
ever
weird.
hear that thing? It was like a radio transmission from a dying planet, and they were like sending a distress call. There was somebody saying there was a thing I saw one time, and it was like a planet, and they're sending out this like dying distress call out into the. It was like a SOS. Anyway, it kind of makes me think about Stephen Hawking and something that he said about maybe not being so. We should be like, okay, everything in nature is camouflaged. It's like hiding under a rock. It'll squirt ink at you. It doesn't want to be seen. It blends in with the tree. There's stick bugs. There's things like this. And humans are not good at this at all. Like ever since we poked our head above the grass line, we were just bold. We're bold. Everything tries to cover up and be camouflaged except for us. And we are tweeting our madness out into space. Donald Trump's little tweets are going out into space. Aliens are seeing him like, what? Why are they all, what? They're all okay with this? We're doing this. We're tweeting everything. We're interneting everything out into space.
But are you thinking that somewhere that our tweets are maybe being received by aliens somewhere in space, but it would probably not translate into a text message, but maybe some kind of other, maybe they can, I don't know. Their world,
my thing about it is
probably somewhat different.
Let's go with Sun Tzu's Art of War. What's the biggest war strategy? What's the biggest strategy? One of the first things they ever say is do not underestimate the other, right? Do not underestimate your opponent. We have this weaponized word where we assume that they're enemies or opponents to begin with. But what I'm saying is,
Bob, I don't want to interrupt, but I want
to talk about some Neanderthals.
Well, yeah,
but I just want to sum this up.
We don't
and just
have
say,
to, but I just want to let our listeners know we changed subject.
No, we're going to talk about Neanderthals in a second. I was saying they would very easily be able to figure out our language, right?
If they're into, I would assume, yes.
And they could totally mess with us. If we're too vocal.
After listening to Linda Moulton Howe and her videos, I'm like, Well, no, aliens are already walking among us.
We should be very cautious about the stuff that we're sending out because that's going to be received and they're going to think that we're idiots.
So it's like global privacy issues instead of national privacy
Oh, man.
issues.
I hope they have a sense of humor. I hope they like really do land on the White House lawn and then they walk out and they look around at a crowd of people and go, no sign of intelligent life anywhere, and get back on the ship and leave. Like, that's what I want.
Let these things blow themselves up.
Right. We'll see you in
I don't know, though.
years.
They might want a resource here, so they might not be a
They
proponent
could
of that.
totally shake us down for our lunch money. Like our planet
Well,
just by the heels.
I would like to.
And just go like, ching,
I want to
ching,
get
ching,
into this. I really do.
But we got to
because-
talk about Neanderthals.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it's
plaque.
almost already half at the half hour, and
We'll talk fast.
we haven't even gotten into tunnels yet. And I really want
we're going to get into tunnels.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of. We can talk about Linda Moulton Howe and all of what you're talking about in a minute.
But first.
Okay, so really, that's all you need to know is that Neanderthals self-medicated, and there's evidence that they dosed themselves with painkillers, possibly penicillin, according to a study of their teeth. One sick Neanderthal chewed the bark of a poplar tree, which contains a chemical related to aspirin. Oh, and he may have been using penicillin, which is really interesting because scientists have long believed that Neanderthals were not as intelligent. Of course,
They had bigger brains.
But they are responsible for a lot of creativity. Apparently, they would make jewelry and things like that. And it's really interesting to now know that they may have been using penicillin. And no, probably like modern man was like, penicillin, what is that? Y'all are dumb and it's not going to work. And and so then we lost the art of using penicillin until many, many years later. So anyways.
Well, so they discovered that in the plaque of their teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty interesting.
What is plaque the same thing as tartar?
I think so.
Yeah.
I
If we're wrong, correct us.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, I have
think
so
so.
much tartar on my teeth that I don't have to dip my fish sticks in nothing.
You don't need tartar sauce. You're pretty funny, Bob.
Thanks.
All right. Anyways, so there's that. And there's more articles on the page that we have collected. But I really wanted to cover what Bob was talking about. I didn't get a chance to post the link yet on the comments of our link. But Bob, you want to go into what you heard about Stephen Hawking's? Hawkins?
No, I thought we just talked about that with him saying, warning us against broadcasting our stupid stuff into space.
I didn't realize. Okay, all right.
That's what I was talking about. Maybe you were thinking about something different.
No, I didn't realize that you never mentioned his name.
God,
so
I hate Stephen Hawking so much.
Why?
He just thinks he's so cool over there in his chair.
Hey.
Just with the I can't talk with that. He's just always just hating on us. He's like, y'all are all a bunch of idiots.
He's also been saying that the world clock, it's 2 till the end of the world clock or something like that. Did you ever read those articles about that? Do you know what I'm talking
world clock, the gravity thing? Gravity thing.
I don't know if it's a gravity thing.
Well, check this out. This is news. Is that land masses, satellites detect land. They detect differences in gravity. If you believe in gravity, which I do, when they go around over different land masses, they pick up different gravitational pulls in the satellites, and they noticed a spike in a very specific part of Antarctica.
Yeah, and that's are we slowly getting into the topic of what Linda Moulton Howe was talking about? Okay, so for people who don't know who Linda Moulton Howe is, she is an award-winning journalist who used to work for CNN, and she got into the whole field of the paranormal and became really passionate about it, and she's a strong advocate for UFO disclosure and disclosure of a lot of really interesting stories she comes across. So a lot of people who've had an experience or witnessed something go
Thousands
to her.
of people.
Yeah.
She got her start. Well, she didn't get her start, but the thing that put her on the map was a documentary called...
What was it?
It was called A Strange Harvest.
That's right.
And that was where she went on to ranches.
Was that the CNN documentary that
A Strange Harvest by Linda Moulton Howe.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what network she was on.
Because
when
I
she
remember
did that,
her talking.
But it was the cattle mutilations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they talk about the surgical procedures and laser beams.
Yeah.
And of course, people go, that's just predators. But it's like all this. No, it's like, yeah, we've got freaking cattle mutilations going on the planet. They're still happening.
I would be interested in actually
a year on certain ranches.
What's that?
That is still happening. It's not like a fad like it.
I mean, you hear about it all the time. I think that would be something I would like to observe, because it's hard. Well, of course, with scientists there, I would like to be able to see it from my own eyes, because I hear about it and I don't know enough about it, forensically to be able to say for sure if it was something other than predators.
Oh yeah, well the laser beams and the burns and what was it? Some of the chemical traces that are like similar to napalm or whatever. She goes into the detail. There's chemical things that are happening too. There's ample evidence. It's just like something. It's not wolves. It's not coyotes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not vultures. It's nothing like that. This is like super precise cores and samples and blood loss and then the tracks, of like no tracks leading up to the thing. This thing was just dropped in its place in a weird position.
But I almost feel like this is kind of like, crop circles that some, I think that there are some crop circles that are legitimately strange, but I can't say for sure. A part of me is like, nah, it's still human. It has to be a part. It has to. That's just like my brain wanting to just cling on to a little normacy, but I can't. I love this stuff.
What the problem is it's so normal. That's the whole issue. Is like DNA taking samples, and it's like with the abduction, with alien abduction, extraterrestrial, extra dimensional, whatever. We're using all the wrong words because we don't know. We don't know what this stuff is. It could be from here. It could be some stuff that lives underneath us, or it could go from Zeta Reticulon way far away, or it could be from a different time.
Yeah.
At any rate, we don't know.
We're going to have to cut to break.
I just want to shake one of these little guys down and ask them.
I know. Maybe they're invisible. Okay.
Where are you from?
We don't know. How about now?
Yep, that's it. That's good.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that mic's kind of funky.
We got a funky mic.
Yeah.
If y'all donate to kzsm.org, we can get
better mics.
And then we won't have to hear about me going, I can't hear my mic.
Yeah. So you go to kzsm.org/donate. Help us.
He'll give you a bumper sticker.
Yeah. We fill your brain with lots of information.
An extra bumper sticker.
Just an extra bumper sticker. Okay. All right. So we're back with the Slanted Sandwich. I'm Lauren.
Hooking it up.
There's Bob.
With the bumper stickers.
Yes. All right. Cool. Well, we're back. We were, so we had just gotten...
about Neanderthals and penicillin.
Yeah, penicillin and Neanderthals.
Aliens.
And real quick, we're not going to get into them, but you can, but I'll read the title. So like doctors discovered cancer enzymes and vaccines, all found murdered. I've heard of this before. I'd like to, okay, so the next show, we're going to have Dee Bartlett on. She's going to be our guest, and she's pretty funny, and she likes all this weird stuff. So she's going to join us, and we'll talk more about these doctors who are just going missing and murdered. Okay. So, and then we also have, of course, Dylann Roof's prison journal released, which we're not going to get into that either, but you can look at the link on our Facebook page at facebook.com/slanted sandwich in the comments. And then, so yeah, basically just kind of wrapping that up, he has some interesting taste in movies that contradict other sociopaths who have been given the same survey on movie preference. So anyway.
I wish this guy's just, they say he's a nut or whatever, that he's a white supremacist. He's 22 years old. Like, if I would to talk to a 22-year-old kid, I'm like, how can you hold a position on anything? You're 22. You don't know anything. Do you want to talk about some history? Do you want to talk about like genetics and mass migrations of humans
on
over the last
show, maybe.
80 million years? Do you want to talk about that before you hold any kind of position about supremacy? Moving on.
I mean, that's the thing. It's kind of a heated topic, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about. Yeah, it gets
me hot.
Oh, and then it gets the seat melt in the bottom of the chair. Okay.
What do you know? You're 22 years old. I'm 31. And then the more I get older, I'm like, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. Just when I think I know things, I don't know things. I mean, Neanderthals, they say, what is it? Like, we're talking about Neanderthals. The more I know, the less I know. Let me tell you something.
Don't make me
that we're
spew my water.
I'll spit coffee all over the screen. Like we don't have, we have Neanderthal DNA in us. We got it.
Yeah.
We got it.
Actually, Italians have more.
Tuscany is 9%.
Mm-hmm.
If you are from Africa, you do not have Neanderthal DNA. But even in like Mongolia, they got it. Anyway, moving on. We're talking about
we're going into tunnels now.
We're wasting space. We're going into tunnels. In Amarillo, Texas.
Yes. Okay. So I asked Bob what should we talk about for Monday? And he sent me 3 links to, of course, Linda Moulton Howe, who we were just talking about, who is a pretty reputable journalist for the news of the weird. And one of those videos talked about this humongous hidden tunnel somewhere. And it was a pretty interesting little podcast. They talked about how there's like 3 to 7 layers, 3 to 7 levels underneath the ground beneath the U.S. Capitol. And and apparently it has something to do with like the 33-degree Masons and them knowing secrets. And then there's speculation, of course, if ETs live down there.
They must be the worst secret keepers of all time. Everybody's like, oh, the Masons can keep secrets. And like, here we are talking about it.
Well,
hey, y'all see, we are totally privy to y'all's underground bases, dude.
Yeah.
Your little storage facilities where you hang out and play Donkey Kong.
Avoid the public or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll get into the Amarillo one in a second. But so after I watched this after I listened to this podcast, I decided to do a little bit more research and found a National Geographic video talking about this thing that is drilling this humongous tunnel. And yeah, it showed it right underneath the U.S. Capitol. But it talked about how actually they're using that as a sewage filtration.
Oh, they always say that.
Of course, right? Quote.
This is where we put the poo poo.
They'll believe it. It's talking about poo.
Right. Don't go down there. It's full of sewage.
Yeah,
well, that keeps a lot of people out, but not me. I'll go down there with my fishing waders.
What if you get down there, then it is?
And then I'm gonna be so disappointed when it's not poo poo.
What if aliens smell?
Oh, they
totally
smell funky. Have you ever smelled an alien? Smell
no,
like freaking burnt matches and ammonia.
I don't know if it was Bud Hopkins I read or who it was talking about how aliens excreted urine from their skin, and it's like, yeah, those things, yeah, they're gonna be stinky.
Right. Once they lost their nose, humans have beautiful noses. We do.
They got rid of it.
Well, if you don't have a nose, you're like, what do I need? What do I care if I smell?
Okay, Bob. Well, what do you think? What do you think is going on in these tunnels? What's your mind on that?
Well, let's see. They're okay. All right. On the good side of it, you just have like transportation from one point A to point B, right?
Very generic.
Or storage facilities. Like here's the thing we don't realize is that the continuity of government, the continuity of power from transitioning through major catastrophic events. They thought about that. They thought about that a lot. Okay? They really did. They're like, hey guys, I have this little fear in the back of my mind. What happens if a major tsunami or asteroid or whatever or fire and blah, 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 and there are people who are trying to overthrow the government and there's mass chaos and martial law, blah, blah. What do we do? How do we maintain control and peek out our heads once the chaos has subsided and reestablish ourselves as rulers?
Exactly.
Right? Don't they think about that all the time?
You know what I'm a little scared of is that they're not going to take any artists down there to survive the nuclear blast or whatever.
Well, they're missing out, you know?
Okay, so that's kind of what I think is going on.
Maybe I'm just walk towards the light when you see that happen and you're like,
There's
I don't want to live here
Yes,
anymore.
I'm finally dead. Oh wait, no, I'm not.
Right. We don't know about reincarnation. I might pop my head out some other planet, you know.
I know.
Have fun, Earthlings. Sayonara.
See you
Just
later.
be gone.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, but they're like in a very, you know, matter of fact, like we still want to rule even after nuclear devastation and chaos, you know, like they really just cannot let that go. Like that's not very Buddhist, is it? In a way. It's like, you know, they're pretty attached to that position of power. It must be pretty juicy.
It's that
they don't-
hindrance. I'll have to tell you. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
hindrances, yeah.
Like they want to. Anyway, that's what I think. Okay, so you asked that's the answer to my question.
Okay.
What do you think they put all the tunnels down there for? I think that they do that so that they can maintain power and have a little hiding space and then reemerge
and
later.
be really proud about their engineering, you know.
They build
Yeah.
cities. Okay, we don't know what's going down beneath
Oh,
us.
yeah, that was something that Linda was saying, that she knew somebody who'd gone down in one of these tunnels and was led to a place that was so massive, or had heard about, he'd heard about it, that there was like sunshine and a beach.
Oh yeah, they
And,
got cool technology.
like, what?
They got energy sources.
There's another
They've
planet
got-
on our
there's
planet.
another planet on our planet. They got the
It's a biodome.
pretty much with atmosphere.
Yeah.
Right, it's big enough to have atmosphere. The guy was
That's
the
terrifying.
nuclear physicist, and they were taking him down there and offering him he had to stay away 3 years away from his family. He didn't take the deal, but they got enough information just from the brochure, you know, the pamphlet, like, hey, buddy, just between me and you, there's tennis courts, there is sun, there you're going to be underneath. It's going to look like the top of the earth. We figured that out. We figured it out how to make it really super badass underneath the ground.
Yeah.
One catch, you got to stay away from your family. And then he's like, my wife, my kids, and like decided not to do it.
Yeah.
That's what Linda Moulton Howe was saying.
Right. Yes. I'm surprised. Yeah. I mean, they're kind of lax about it if we know about it, and you know this guy.
They brag.
About it.
They're bragging.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we
We're
got
going
tunnels.
in here,
You know about
you're not.
nuclear cones? Nuclear cones. They push through the earth. They can drill 8 miles a day.
Oh, is that
They
what that
push
is?
that tube
that
into-
weird grinder thing.
Well, no, there's drilling in a traditional mechanical. There's
it's
have
like
3.
a tunnel that drills.
No, right. Hold on. There's chemical and physical change. Okay. Chemical and physical. Keep it right. We've got 2 minutes. Okay, I can take this. So, chemical change, like a fire is a chemical change.
It's a reaction.
It's
yeah,
a reaction.
chemical
Right?
reaction.
So a nuclear cone gets super hot, and then it pushes through the earth, and the heat is
So it
so
just
intense
melts anything.
that it pushes it right. And we're still thinking about things in very conventional ways about having these grinders that grind like a drill bit, and it churns it all up, right? And don't get me wrong, that is like so awesome that we can even physically grind it up and move the earth around with the physical grinding. But for the sake of just like thinking about pushing through the earth with heat alone, and the amount of and that's just one technology we know about is these little cone things. I've also heard that there are ways to clear out space with actual like atomic weapons, and that is something that I really don't know enough about, but there are people who talk about hearing booms and hearing loud noises underground, and there's no explanation, but subterranean building
could be going on.
Totally.
It's possible.
I think our Earth looks like a big old piece of Swiss cheese.
I mean, you hear these things and you're like, wow, Earth has so many interesting fictional stories. No, but hasn't it always been the goal of man to reach our dreams? You know, ever since,
Sometimes
before.
it's my goal just to get out the freaking bed.
It started with the stars. Think about it. Humanity looked at the stars and they're like, wow, what's out there? And one day we built spaceships and we actually go to outer space, which is crazy. And now, we still are going towards our goal.
Excellent.
And I think part of that is researching things even to the molecular level, even to the quantum level, as we progress in intelligence as a species. It's pretty fascinating. Anyway, well, we're going to break.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
We're doing it.
Good noon, San Marcos. I don't know how do you pronounce? I mean, it's not afternoon quite yet. And
These guys
it's
are
not
just waking
morning.
up.
Some
Marcus,
people are, yeah.
It's Monday, waking up.
They're probably waking
if
up
your boss
way,
makes you
way
come
late.
at 9 o'clock in the morning, man.
Oh,
we should be waking up at 12 o'clock. Whatever you.
I'd say, you know what, 10 o'clock is good for me.
If you didn't party all weekend, what kind of weekend is that?
Good question. Well, I wanted to let the listeners know, check out our schedule at kzsm.org. We have some really awesome DJs with great shows, not just the Slanted Sandwich. We've got, let's see.
Cosm.
We've got a huge schedule here, and I'm kind of reading from it. Of course, we always have the hilarious Kelly Stone with Martian Mommy from 8 to 10, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Check her out. And then we've got Morning Glory with Tina from 8 to 10 on Sundays. And we have Backseat Bingo on Sundays as well with Jack B and Mark Avilio from 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. So that's a nice chunk of time right there. So if you're interested in a show, we've got some spots in our schedule. So come on down to our volunteer meetings on Wednesdays.
Message.
Well, it would probably just be good for them to show up to the volunteer meetings on Wednesdays. You can't hear yourself,
No,
Bob?
I can't hear. Can't hear myself. I can hear myself now.
Okay.
Good.
All right. All right. Anyway, so welcome back to the Slanted Sandwich. I'm Lauren.
I'm Bob.
And that's Bob. Yes. Weird news at noon.
Yeah. So we're talking about the Earth and it being like Swiss cheese and how, it's probably, in a lot of ways, being under subterranean is more secure than being on the surface, right? Surface area of the planet is the most subject to catastrophe.
Yeah.
Right? Until you get too far down, then you burn up.
Well,
right.
I think my concern is like sinkholes, and that's another subject because it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it could cause sinkholes.
But I actually have an acquaintance of mine who studied in France for a little while, and back in 2011, there were reports all over the world that people were hearing these weird booms, and they were localized.
Thugs, and they got their radios too.
But it's kind of a haunting robotic metal sound, and it's localized. So they would walk down the end of the street and not hear it, but they couldn't figure out where it was coming from. People would be looking everywhere, and they don't know where it's from. So Linda Moulton Howe talks about those strange booms, and they still happen. But for whatever reason, in 2011, there was just a lot more of it going on, or it was just being reported more. I'm not really sure. But there was even a report in San Antonio. I remember.
Yeah, and it's weird how everybody. I can't hear very well.
Really?
Can you turn it up a little bit more. Yeah. Okay, now it's good. It depends on like what your perspective is, where your background is, because like if you come from like the religious background, you hear the booms and you go, it's angel trumpets, right? But if you have like the sciencey kind of situation, you're like, I think they're doing something underneath us.
I don't think those are angel trumpets, but it is kind of
They
apocalyptic.
sound like the trumpets of angels. You know.
We peaked on that.
Oh. We peaked?
Well,
is that good or bad?
It might have hurt our listeners' ears. I don't know.
Okay, sorry guys.
It's all right. Anyways, so Linda Moulton Howe talks about that, and the reason we wanted to talk about those booms is because, kind of highlighting what we talked about just a little while ago about the underground tunnels, it's speculation that maybe these big booms that people are hearing is
underground
a lot of
building.
Underground construction.
I've been hinting at subterranean building. You know what really is frustrating about all this, though?
What's that?
I'll tell you the most frustrating thing about it is
Tell us.
we got nuclear stuff spewing all over the Pacific Ocean, and for whatever reason, they have to keep it as such a secret. They're going to keep your stupid subterranean building such a secret that they can't just like come up from underneath Fukushima, whoot, drop that stuff down, whoop, and then it won't leak all over the ocean. It's that simple.
But I think the people who are building these
but they can't give away their
tunnels,
technology. They can't like expose that they even have
Bob,
it.
Do you think
even
they
though
really
there's patents for it?
Do you think they really care? Like, if they already know that, there's a specific group of people, I would assume that they would have, like, a huge list of people, like, okay, we're going to let these people in. We don't care about the rest.
Right.
That's kind of what I think. It's like, okay, well, I don't care about Fukushima. We don't care about that. Because, this specific group of people is going to be okay regardless.
I think that's the problem with aliens is, like, they're future politicians who hung out in subterranean bases underneath major catastrophes and stuff like that. And they're like, I don't know if we have a whole lot in common.
Yeah.
Future time traveler guy who hung out in an underground bunker while the rest of us, like...
Time travelers, that's a good topic for another show.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, lots of fascinating stuff I want to look into more. I think the tunnel thing was pretty fascinating.
In Amarillo, this guy walks and it's miles. It's touching everything. It's going building to building to building to building to building.
Yeah.
And it's like he's walking for 30 minutes. He could have gotten on a bike and made it a little bit quicker. But he's showing is like this one comes out in the Sims building and this one comes out in such and such building and whatever. And then people have been saying that there's all these Walmarts that shut down.
Wait,
there's things going on.
I kind of
want to
illustrate the video. I want to illustrate the video real quick. Just so.
Because
yeah, it's the radio. Can't watch it. Gotta listen. So this guy, it's a video of this dude who'd heard about these tunnels but hadn't seen them personally.
And we'll post a link on the Slanted Sandwich.
Yeah, we can do that. And he goes into the UPS building, but something interesting that he kept saying was that you have to be a UPS worker to actually get in the building. So he doesn't ever say if he's a UPS worker or not. He just walks into the building. I'm assuming he got permission or works there. I don't know. But it is strange.
UPS?
It's the UPS building. Yeah, that's where it starts. That's where the tunnel starts. And he films a sign in this building saying route red or route yellow. It's 1/8 of a mile this way or 1/4 of a mile the other way, and like they'll end up leading to other buildings underneath the city. Like one of the tunnels he went down reached a building that's way across the street from where they were, but he went, these tunnels go underneath the ground, and for a while they just look like regular hallways until he gets to one door and he opens it and it's literally a round tunnel. It's super weird. And of course the first thing I'm thinking is that it's drug smuggling. Like that could totally happen. Maybe people smuggling. It's possible. That's kind of my initial thing when I think of tunnels of that size. Like it's obviously there isn't a spaceship flying through this tunnel, but the other tunnel we're talking about is that big. What's that?
What I'm saying? Humans are just part mole. We got all sorts of DNA floating around in us. And I think we're very closely related to moles, and we just have a fascinating. When you were a kid, did you dig a hole in your life when you were a kid?
It's really weird.
If you didn't dig a hole, you ain't got no childhood, man. So what I'm saying is that was the thing I tried to do. I could only go down. I kept on wanting to like make it go forward, like and be able to go underneath it.
There was an interesting article about a guy who dug a hole every single day of his, or not a hole, but kept working on the same hole for like 18 years when I was researching all of this stuff.
What?
Yeah.
He dug a hole?
Yeah, like
a big hole?
Yeah, I think
he could have dug a whole pool by then.
I think it. People cope in weird ways sometimes,
or they don't cope.
Maybe that's what it is.
That's my problem.
Maybe it was like an obsession. I need to.
I have no coping skills. How much time we got?
We've got 3 minutes.
Oh, we got 3 minutes. Cool. I just want to say this real quick. Okay.
Okay.
This morning, on the way here, it was drizzly, and there was this little thing in my windshield wipers, and it collected this little piece of a leaf. Mm-hmm. And when the rain was coming down, I saw this little streak of water that wouldn't get wiped off. Drove me freaking nuts. So I pulled over. I mean, it got me good. I was like, oh, man, and so I wiped it off with my finger. I was like, okay, that's going to work. And it did work for about 2 seconds, and then it picked up another one.
Is there like a small
And it was right in my field of vision. It was right in that field of vision where I had this little like spot, this little half semicircle that I'm like staring at. It's right in front of my vision. And I was already on the freeway when this happened. The whole way here, I was losing my mind looking at this little streak of water right in front of the thing where like all the traffic was in front of me was.
That would drive me a little nuts.
Anyway, then my point is that is what OCD is like. Like I don't have it, but I suspect that it's like that feeling of like I can't stop thinking about this thing. I was trying to relate some lovely people in my life, who are afflicted, and I think I finally understand what's going on here.
We had a range of subjects today.
Well, I talk about all sorts of stuff.
No, that's why I was thinking 2 hour. Let's make it a 2 hour show. That way
make
they
it a
can
2
give
hour
room.
show.
Yeah, because I think it's important for our listeners to get to know us too, and we don't have room for that. It's all topic. So if you think, everyone listening, that we should have a 2 hour show, leave a comment. Give us a thumbs up, something. All right. Anyways, it's time to go, guys.
We're going to go?
Yeah, it's time to go.
We'll have to talk about space aliens later.
Okay, wow.
And underground tunnels. Mass murders. Science.
Yeah.
Meteorites. We didn't even hit meteorites. There's these micrometeorites. Check it out. Check out these micrometeorites. They finally discovered that these little bitty microscopic, there's 1,000 tons of them a day. There's so many of them just dropping off.
I'm trying to tell Bob it's time.
I'm not ready.
I don't like
I love you guys.
Okay.
Hey.
All right. See you later.
Later.